source material. We are starting this episode right now, as a matter of fact. I'll tell you right now. We're starting it right now. Right, Ronnie Adams?
Yep.
I'll tell you what. He wags his butt.
Oh, goodness. That's Mark Radulich over there from he's the patriarch of the Radulich and Broadcasting Network.
Hold on. Alexa, turn the living room light off.
Jeez, criminy.
Can we get a supercut of him turning off his lights?
All right, boys.
He's ready. Alexa, take my pants off.
Alexa could do that.
We got to talk about tonight's topic, and that is Lobo, Highway to Hell.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse.
Yes.
Remember how you were asking about comic books that have like bands in them and stuff, or band featured comics? There's an Archie meets the Ramones.
How old is that?
Yes, there is. There's also
2016.
What were you saying, Ronnie?
There's also Archie versus Sharknado.
Oh my gosh.
So Archie versus Predator.
But we'll be talking about that later this year.
Yeah, Archie versus Predator is definitely on the agenda.
What, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, when Predators comes out, or
exactly.
The Predator rather.
Yeah. So Lobo, Highway to Hell. Mark Radulich. This is another one that you chose. Can you give us an idea why we're talking this book that came out in 2010?
We are synergizing with Skyscraper. No, we're not.
How do we tie that in with that? I mean, obviously, the Skyscraper is on fire. What do you say, Ronnie?
Well, the Skyscraper's on fire, and this book was a dumpster fire. So it all comes together.
Synergizing with Incredible.
And the Incredibles.
We just decided that there was, as I said last week, there was just a bunch of different books that were on my Amazon wish list. And since Jesse's just a girl and Ronnie don't like to schedule, I basically said, well, here's a bunch of things I want to talk about. And they went, okay, I don't know how to do math. And so this was one of those books.
I think we made a choice based off of the writer of this book.
Yes.
Which is
Scott Ian of Anthrax fame.
Remember that conversation going that way.
Oh, okay.
It did. Well, I have the minutes from that meeting.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
For some reason. So Scott Ian of Anthrax fame. Have you ever read anything else that Scott Ian done, or did you even know he wrote comics or a comic?
No. I was not aware he had anything to do with comic books. Honestly, I was looking for different Lobo books. I was looking for the original run on Lobo, as a matter of fact. And then we saw this one by Scott Ian. We're like, oh, that's fun. Let's read a comic book written by a musician. And it turned out badly.
Horribly.
I want to read the Drax series because that was written by CM Punk, and I want to see if we can keep this up of comic books written by people who are famous for other things that they did that write bad comic books.
How many have we talked about on the podcast that have really? Will we count Kevin Smith as one of those people? Well,
I wasn't wazooey about his run on Daredevil.
Well, you can't really on that. By all means, Scott Ian, CM Punk. I don't know of anybody else right now offhand, but there are others that I don't know if CM Punk's run on Drax went. People that actually enjoyed it, but it was not good.
Kevin Smith, Scott Ian. So I can't think of any other people that wrote books that we've covered that are more famous for their outside work other than writing comics. But so we decided to give Scott Ian a chance on Lobo. And the other selling point, I think, to me was the artist, which is a guy by the name of Sam Keith. Ronnie Adams, do you remember Sam Keith at all from the 90s?
Yeah, I know.
Does he always draw this shitty?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm obviously going to be a minority here, as I'm a fan of Sam Keith's work. I love the Max. I don't know, Mark, if you ever saw the Max cartoon or if you read any of the Max books from back in the 90s. But the Max was okay. The Max was created by Sam Keith. He's been a pretty prominent artist there in the 90s prior to Image with Marvel. He did a lot of the Marvel Comics Presents with Wolverine and the Hulk. You may probably even own an issue or two that has one of those two characters in it, drawn by Sam Keith. But I know Lobo's been drawn by a guy by the name of Simon Beasley. That's kind of what Sam Keith's art reminds me of. Kind of, sketchy all over the place, very disproportionate when it comes to the, arms, legs, facial expressions, things like that. But either way, I'm a fan of Sam Keith. And now his take on Lobo, what we'll do is we'll get into the synopsis here. Ronnie Adams, tell me what you know a little, if anything, about Lobo.
He's the main man. Lobo's always varied as far as his power set, with different people that have written him. But I know he started off as a pair of Gable and Wolverine and all the tough guys, the ones who don't care to, and everything, things like that. So it was that's where he started. The parody part he became popular, and people actually liked him. So they're like, oh, and he's always been like from a planet where he murdered every last person.
Czarnia. I remember the other Lobo book that we covered, and that was the Lobo Christmas special. Oh, I did that with Pat and Gavin.
Yeah,
and
you
watched,
didn't you?
Watched. Yeah, there was a YouTube. I know it was like a film school adaptation of the book, and
it's an unreleased movie.
What you get with Lobo is just absurdity. I mean, really, a lot of times that's what you expect with a Lobo comic. Although he was kind of shoehorned into some more popular storylines in the early 90s that I can remember. I remember him being part of Legion, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like my first running into Lobo was as part of the Legion comic. And then he got a solo series, which was silly. And I remember him being like a match for Superman. I feel like Lobo basically was, their attempt to parody Wolverine, but with like Deadpool's power set.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's, like I said, his power set has varied with different people have written him. They've shown him being stronger than a human, and then up to matching strength with Superman, with him, unlimited strength.
That's crazy.
And then you've got his healing factor, the fact that he can ride his bike through space. He can survive the vacuum of space. Like, I remember reading up on him and saying he's been shown, being injured by conventional weapons, guns and swords, and then turn around somebody else or bounce.
Oh, really?
So over the place, but mostly he's been like the overpowered character. And I know redesigned him and made him emo Lobo.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was terrible. But
I haven't read a single thing with him in it.
Oh no, it was I refused. I'm not a fan of red stuff. He's on it. He's opening the hook and sometimes he uses gun. This guy's cracking. Even when it was they put him up against Wolverine.
Yes, Marvel DC. After reading this comic, I wondered about how that fight went down now, because the way that went is people voted who they wanted to win. Lobo versus Wolverine was, I don't know, dude. I mean, I know there's probably, I don't know, probably about at least 2 times as many Wolverine fans than there is of Lobo. So
hands down, fan wise, Wolverine wins.
Yep. And now after reading this comic, if the power set was like that, I don't know, man.
But if you power set wise, it's a tough one. But if you just go by popularity, got him in spades. Mm-hmm. So it's it was a tough one for me thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. I want Wolverine to win because I'm Wolverine, but kind of a deal.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that whole fight, even in the pages of Marvel versus DC, completely happens outside of the view of the reader. It's all behind a bar. Those two go behind a bar. They fight, and then it's just Wolverine coming up, and he's won. And you're like,
it's the biggest ripoff.
Bullshit.
Because you don't get to see the fight. I guess they thought it would be too violent.
Yeah, it's either that or they just didn't want to, show one other person getting the leg up. I don't know. But either way, that's not what you've called for here, ladies and gentlemen. Not today. Not today. We're going to be talking Lobo Highway to Hell. So what we're going to do is standard source material fare, unless either of you have anything else to say about Lobo. Mark Radulich, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. We can move on.
All right. Ronnie Adams?
I'm good.
Okay, here we go. Lobo, Highway to Hell. So Lobo, hanging out in his apartment, has his day ruined when someone throws a nearly murdered space dolphin through his window.
I can't tell you
I
how
thought you
many
were
of
going
my
to say a copy of this book.
I can't tell you how many of my days have begun this way when someone throws a fist through my door.
It's horrible.
You either live in the greatest neighborhood ever or the worst neighborhood ever.
No paper boys running around there. They all deliver fish. They just toss it. As one of his favorite animals die in front of his eyes, Lobo notices a note stabbed to the creature written by Satan himself. Lobo swears to avenge the space dolphin and embarks on a trip to hell to confront the devil. His travels take him to a large cruise ship that is embarking on its ritual voyage across the River Styx. Confronting the ferryman, as the guys from Nickelback would say, the ferryman, to determine just where in the hell Satan is. Lobo accidentally kills him, has an altercation with a multitude of guests, then hits the big red boat sink button, leaving them all to die as he makes it to the other side. Making his way to the Hellfolk Fishing Village bar, Lobo is still looking for info on the whereabouts of Satan. Of course, a bar fight is started, and Lobo is left standing as he grabs some wheels, setting the GPS for downtown hell. Finally meeting up with Satan himself, things may not be as they seem. You see, Satan swears on the Nuge. The Nuge, Mark Radulich.
The Nuge.
He didn't do it. But since Lobo made his way down there to confront him after being banished a long time ago, which that was a bit of history I did not know, but apparently Lobo was such an asshole that hell apparently did not want him and banished him at one point. So after being banished a long time ago, Satan looks now to torture him for all of eternity since he has returned. Lobo ain't having it. And a Donnybrook ensues, including some rather over-the-top, hellacious, gross spots, such as the Satan vomit there. I don't know if you guys remember that. Oh, man, that happened in there. Not to mention Lobo being thrown into DMV hell twice. Then Lobo starts to conclude that maybe, in fact, it wasn't Satan who killed the dolphin, but his old pal, Vril Dox of the Legion. Now, Mark, you said you kind of referenced the Legion. Do you remember Vril Dox at all?
Yeah, he ran the joint.
Okay. Big green.
No, that's the Hulk.
Okay. He more like humanoid green. Human-sized green.
Yes.
Know anything about this guy?
He was an alien. He ran Legion.
Okay. All right. So it's his old pal, Vril Dox.
Hang on. Give me a break. I read that in high school.
All right, well, dude, I'm asking you. You don't have to. I won't go to the wiki. I ain't scared. Let's go to the wiki and see what Vril Dox is all about.
Like, why don't you know more about him? Why don't you study? Why don't you prepare for this podcast that you planned?
First appearance, 1964, Superman 167. As he is he is the heir of Brainiac, one of Superman's greatest foes. He is an ancestor
I
of
vaguely remember that now.
Vril Dox, Brainiac 5 of the Legion. So he's an ancestor of Brainiac 5 of the Legion of Superheroes. Okay, so I do know a little bit about the Legion of Superheroes. Those guys are far-flung future team that Superboy was a part of at one point. I remember Brainiac 5 being green and part of that team. So that's who I thought Vril Dox was initially. But he is the ancestor of Brainiac 5. So clearly he was born in our time.
Did they all wear, the Legion of Superheroes, didn't they all wear like rings that could make them fly?
Yes.
And they gave one to Superman?
I don't know about all that.
In the future, Supergirl is part of the Legion.
Yeah, she is. As a matter of fact, she shows up in, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow. I always forget what that's called. Yeah, so there you go. Vril Dox. We've clearly explained that perfectly. Everybody's coming away from this with the utmost knowledge of who Vril Dox is. Here, let's just talk about this. Vril Dox and Legion. Vril Dox is the founder of the
Intergalactic Planetary.
Yeah, Interplanetary Police Force. licensed extra-governmental interstellar operatives network, abbreviated Legion. It was founded through outright murder when Vril and his allies destroyed a criminal drug ring. Chief Dox tries to manipulate everyone he comes across. He manages to gain control of the bounty hunter Lobo. This is partly by outsmarting and outfighting Lobo and taking advantage of one of the bounty hunter's simple ethics, that he never breaks his word. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you know what? I thought Vril was a good guy. It doesn't sound like he's much of a good guy here. But either way, so he finds out. Let's get back to the story. Talk more about this book than I really wanted to. Lobo then starts to conclude that it was not Satan who killed the dolphin, but Vril Dox of the Legion. Did he put the plan in place to be rid of Lobo, hoping Satan would keep him in hell? Or is he there to help him against the legions of hell that are coming after him? Nope, it's a plot by Satan himself in order to torture him over and over. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? At the end of this book, the devil has won for now. There you go. Mark, what'd you think, man? You picked the book. We went with Scott Ian. What'd you think of Scott Ian's try at writing a comic book?
I think he thought it would be funny, and he's wrong.
Let's just talk about what's going on here. Again, Lobo is a character that is just wrapped in silliness, really. I can't say, even that Christmas special we watched, /read, was probably one of the most ridiculous stories that I've read in quite a while. I mean, you have Lobo going after Santa Claus, Lobo's been contracted to kill Santa Claus by the fucking Easter Bunny. Okay? So he is always involved in some just over-the-top goofy stories. I cannot say or cannot fault Scott Ian for going the route that he did.
I mean, it starts off kind of promising. I mean, a dolphin through your window with a knife through it is always funny. But,
the laugh stopped there.
But after that, it's like, there's a mystery. I don't know. I think this might have worked better as a cartoon, maybe. Just because, it had a Looney Tunes kind of feel to it.
What Looney Tunes are you watching?
Well, no, I mean, consider this, right? He gets sidetracked. This is a mystery, right? Who sent him the message? Who killed the dolphin? So he's going off, and his first suspect is obviously Satan, and so he's going to find Satan.
Considering the note says, "Bitch, call me 1-888 something hell for you."
See you in hell.
See you. That was 1-800 see you in hell. Signed
C, the letter C, the letter U,
yeah,
the letter N.
There was a lot of clues pointing in the same direction. Anyway, but the first thing he does is get on the ferry, get on the boat, right? And
the ferry.
And then it's like he just gets drunk and fucks bitches, and that's a couple of pages of that. Again, might work better as a cartoon. It didn't really work for me as a comic. And then he finds them, and the devil's a little girl, a little white girl. Hashtag B2. And
I can't even stretch the association. But go ahead.
So then he meets Satan. Satan's like, I didn't do it. And then he leaves. And then he comes, and then he fights Vril, and then turns out, that's all a lie.
Turns out he never left at all.
And it turns out he never, this is all, one long, fuck with you session. That's all right.
They never left the island. They're all in purgatory.
Yeah.
You didn't see the ending, though. You did not see the ending coming.
Who cares, though? But that's the thing, I get what Scott Ian was going for. He wanted... how do you beat a guy who's invincible? You have to basically torture him. You put him in an endless time loop where he's just where nothing. I don't know if did you watch the latest episode of Cloak and Dagger, Jesse?
Not the latest one. We probably got about 2 episodes left where we're current.
All right. Then I'll give you an example of something you did see. You remember Doctor Strange?
I do remember Doctor Strange.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is taking on Dormammu, and Dormammu is clearly more powerful than Doctor Strange is, but Doctor Strange uses the Infinity Stone to trap him in a time loop, and Dormammu's like, you know what, fuck this. Right? I'm not gonna stay in a time loop for all of infinity. And and that's how Doctor Strange wins the day, right?
Yep.
Because the worst torture on earth is having the same thing happen to you over and over and over again. Life without progression is death.
Ask me about this show.
Life without progression is death. It's a fate worse than death. And so that's how he has his revenge on Lobo. Fine, I got it. comic book was drawn by a 5th grader, and
I'm upset.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead. Continue.
And so between the art and the really overly simplistic story, it's like, meh, I get it, but it's not for me.
Okay. All right, Ronnie. Give us your thoughts. What you're thinking here?
I'll be honest. I hated this book.
Oh, jeez.
This was a chore. I'm a fan of clean artwork.
That's not Sam Keith. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Not one that was drawn in crayon.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
I understood everything that was happening in this book, every single thing, and that's a tribute.
It's no wacky raceland. Don't get me wrong, it's no wacky raceland, but still, ugh.
Yeah, I hated that a lot worse than I hate this. I'll say that. But this was just not for me, man. It was a chore to get through this book. It was even too goofy for Lobo for me. I'm not going to take anything away from Scott Ian because he's doing something I couldn't do.
Yeah, this is his debut. This is his debut, and it's not like he's got all these writing accolades under his belt for comics. This is his debut to tell a story. So
you should hear my first podcast. It was pretty terrible.
Same here.
In fact, you should hear my last podcast. It's pretty terrible as well. Man, I just didn't enjoy it. I mean, like the ferryman, taking off his cloak and he's
hit it, Chad.
He's a little short dude with an apparatus on his head that makes him tall.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's not funny. It didn't ring my bell.
The other story that reminds me, the other story that we did with Lobo, and it was Lobo Roadrunner, where he was going after the Roadrunner. I think that's the one I had to cover. Lobo fits perfectly in that universe, in that Looney Tunes universe. Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and give my 2 cents in here for the story. First
we're good.
Shut up. Scott Ian. I already said I respect the man for coming in and writing a comic, especially a character like Lobo. It's tough.
He did not pick an easy character for his first go around.
That's true. It's not. He's all the things that I like in what I used to read in '90s comics: the over the top violence, the anti-hero. Near vigil. Well, I wouldn't say vigilante, but anti-hero is a great word for it. This guy he'd kill anything that pretty much would look at him wrong. I mean, at one point in this book, the guy's about ready to eat a little goldfish. And Lobo grabs
his head off,
grabs him by the neck, and legit pops his head off. His head goes flying. So that's the absurdity of Lobo. So yeah, Scott Ian did not pick the easiest character to write. It's probably the one he enjoys the most reading, though. There must be some history. I definitely got that there was some history between Lobo and the Devil. Now, whether that's happened before in the past, I could clearly see it happening with the character Lobo. Ronnie, you mentioned clean art. Okay, If you throw a clean artist along with somebody that's a heavy metal, one of the more prominent names in metal, thrash metal. That's the kind of art that fits Scott Ian as a person, in my opinion. And a lot of times when you're putting a creative team together, you've got to think, okay, well, are we going to do rest his soul, Darwin Cook and Scott Ian? No, you're not. You're not going to do Jim. You might be able to pull Jim Lee off, but I would probably, who I could see doing a Scott Ian book? That's Jay Lee instead of Jim Lee. That is the more
that very sketchy style.
Exactly. That's the kind of art style that I envision being paired with Scott Ian, a heavy metal icon.
I don't know. I like my artwork where people look like people, and don't look like my son drew it.
Do you understand that you're going to hell, sir? That is the point of the book. Not you yourself, but it's called Highway to Hell. It's his journey into hell. Things are not going to look. This is what hell's supposed to look like. It's scary.
I will give you at least 5 books that depict hell a lot cleaner and a lot more interesting than this.
Okay. All right. Well,
this looks like someone took 5 crayons in their hand and just went over the paper with it.
Edit this out. Okay, there we go. Just making a note to myself.
How'd they do again, Mark?
Nah.
Okay.
Whatever. Whatever. I'm just looking down here to see if we've got any comments on the Read Comic Online page. If anybody shared their
barrel of gun, son of a bitch.
Nobody did.
Oh, no. If you want to see some comments, go to Goodreads.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The Goodreads comments are hilarious. All right, 1 star. I've read countless comics during my time on this earth, and there are a small number of them that made their way onto my short list of worst ever. When I say worst ever, I mean a comic that contains little or no entertainment value, and more often than not displays a level of craftsmanship that is well below my very flexible standards.
Dude, this fucking guy goes on for like 5 more paragraphs. He has a ... more, and when you hit it, it takes up the whole page.
Yeah, he wrote an essay.
We need more content filler. Go ahead, Mark.
No, we don't.
The next one, 3 stars. Crass, sacrilegious, rude, crude, and absolutely perfect for Lobo fans. Too bad I'm not one.
Oh. No.
2 stars.
I mention I hate Lobo?
Some good parts, but weird ending which lost me.
I was kind of like at the end. I was like, okay, is he getting the wool pulled over his eyes by Satan here? But I like how the very end.
2 stars.
That was my favorite.
I don't think the writer captured Lobo's charm very well.
What?
Charm? What was that?
Not really
so evil.
Not really my cup of 2 stars. Not really my cup of tea. Oh well, you live and learn. Still, $20 is $20. I'll never get back. Okay, Mark, is this going in the bottom third of the stuff that you've read with us so far? Would you say that that's fair assessment on your? Okay.
I mean, it's better than Wacky Raceland, and it's better than the Iron Fist book we read, but not by much.
Not by much.
Yeah.
Ronnie Adams, you running out to buy this at Ollie's?
No. God. I feel like I want my money back for reading it free.
No, whatever.
All right, so the next one we have to do is Lobocop, the bastitch of law enforcement.
I'm telling you, everything he's in is over the top, goofy, just out of this world, and it's depending on the writer. I mean, we just read something by Scott Ian that wasn't, in my opinion, that bad.
Okay, this Lobocop is written by Alan Grant.
Okay, that's a very prominent writer he's done Batman, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I need to find a space on next year's calendar for this.
Alan Grant.
I need to find a space for 2025.
Alan Grant, Jurassic Park Wiki. Oh, no, wait a second.
Nope, wrong Grant.
Scottish comic book writer known for Judge Dredd. Again, yep. Simon Beasley. Because, Ronnie, you remember Batman Judge Dredd? That was Simon Beasley art.
Yeah, it sure was, because everybody had shoulders as wide as a frickin' Buick.
One guy, he had a dial on his head.
Yeah, he did.
Headbutt.
Yeah, he turned it up, and it would turn up the the intensity of his headbutt.
Oh, some weird shit come out of Judge Dredd, man. So yes, Alan Grant, Judge Dredd, 2000 AD, as well as various Batman titles.
All right.
So I'm on page 3 of Lobocop, and I think he drank a keg through the roof, and then proceeded to barf through the hole of the roof. When it comes to art, you're probably going to give this a little bit more of a chance compared to Sam Keith, but
it's actually a year from today. We will do Lobocop, the bastitch of law enforcement, the same week that we'll be reviewing Top Gun and putting the original Top Gun on trial. So there.
Oh, dude, this is going to be tough, man. We are not going to come away with this comic happy. This is. Here's the bad thing.
I've given up hope of coming away from this show happy ever.
Did they say he was a British? No, he's Scottish. He's a Scottish writer. That is coming through big time on what's written here on the page.
I thought you were asking is Lobo Scottish, and I'm pretty sure he's Annian.
Alan Grant is Scottish. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm done with that. All right, we're done talking about Lobo right now. So take these plugs and shove it. Ronnie Adams.
Yep.
Plug away, sir.
I had a show.
One time.
Named the Screaming Boy Podcast. It's still, I mean, in theory, it's still a show because I really want to do another episode and keep doing episodes, but I have to get my computer fixed, and no one really knows how to fix it right now. So, short of taking it to Apple and promising my firstborn, I don't know what to do. So, but I have a show called Screaming Boy Podcast, and it is a lot of fun. It is a silly, fun pop culture podcast where we talk about TV, movies, comic books, just about anything you want to talk about. The 80s, we do a lot of stuff on the 80s, which is a lot of fun. Our childhood nostalgia, which reminds me, we did a show. It was an exclusive to the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, where we talked about Toys R Us closing and how that affected us as grown men. But which made us all really, really sad. It's actually truly a tragic loss in my childhood. Loved Toys R Us, and we also did a show that makes on a topic that raises the blood pressure of the disapproving dad, Jesse Starcher, where we talked about what's up, Netflix, what you doing, what are you thinking? Movie Pass. Netflix? We love Netflix. There's nothing wrong with Netflix.
Episode coming soon. We love Netflix.
There's nothing wrong with Netflix. Keep giving me that good Stranger Things, my friend. What's up, Movie Pass? Where Movie Pass is a subscription where you sign up and they pay for your movies, one movie every day for a month. In theory, that's what they're offering, but they have done a lot of changes to their terms of service. So we go over a few of those, and they have thus changed once again since the show. But we talk about that, and we go over Jesse's concerns, and he rages a little bit. It's kind of fun to listen to Jesse rage. You find that is also a Radulich and Broadcasting Network exclusive, so you find it right here. Both of them are featuring, of course, Jesse Starcher and the patriarch of the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, Mr. Marcus Quincy Radulich, Esquire. I don't know what Esquire means, but it sounds cool. But so go over to Facebook, search us out by searching Screaming Boy Podcast, and then you can go on Twitter, Instagram, and I think we even have a Snapchat we don't use. You can find us on any social media. We have lots of cool pictures from past Comic-Cons. I'm going to the Raleigh SuperCon on the last weekend of July, so there'll be more cool pictures on our Instagram coming up. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I get to meet Ralph Macchio and William Zabka of Karate Kid fame and get their autographs and talk to them. There's a lot of other cool people like William Shatner, Dave Bautista, Sean Gunn, the young lady who played Mantis, Pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
Karen Gillian.
Karen Gillian?
Yeah, she's going to be there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
she's so fine.
She is. And she's Scottish as well.
Oh, I know.
The Watchman.
Me, I know, buddy.
The Watchman.
So,
She
is not in either one of those. But
appearing at the con is The Watchman. V for Vendetta.
If I walk in, there's big posters for those. I'm taking them, and I'll immediately pay for Mark's plane ticket to come up. I'll pay for his hotel, his plane ticket, everything, just to have him there so I can take a picture of him with 2 thumbs up and tag Jesse on Facebook. So give us a like, subscribe, check us out here on the network. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and iHeart. We're out there. Go find us.
All right, very good. Now, Mark Radulich, the patriarch.
So, when this airs on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, you'll hear it.
You act like he doesn't have anything to plug.
It's a ruse. It's all a ruse.
This week on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, we'll have podcasts. One of which...
I did say keep them general, didn't I?
We do stuff.
General So's podcast.
Back to you, Jesse.
We'll be reviewing Mission Impossible Fallout. Myself and Jesse Starcher will review D. Snyder for the Love of Metal. And we had to reschedule another podcast. Myself and Sean Comer will finally get around to doing a TV party tonight for Glow Season 2.
Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go give the Radulich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. We have something out there that most likely you are interested in, whether it be movies, music. We've got comics. We've got, I'm thinking of it all here. We talk MMA. We talk wrestling sometimes. It's all out there. So you can stay up on top of all of that.
Boy, is it out there.
Is it? It's all out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just dangling in the wind, waiting for you to press play. That's right. Download it. Touch it.
Our shit is dangling, and it's waiting for you to cup it in your hands.
Oh, nasty. All right. Well, that's Ronnie Adams, and over there's Mark Radulich.
That was Ronnie Adams.
That was his last episode for the 20th time. That's Mark Radulich. We are Source Material, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening. Day, night. Bye.
And run for your life. The man is back in town.
Did you read any of it?
I tried real hard.
All right, so Lobo Highway to Hell's not on here.
Oh, thank goodness. We got the confirmation from the All High and Mighty. Double checking my work, asshole.
Well.
You know? Why am I here? What am I doing with my life? What have these guys done to me again? Hanging out in this apartment. And all of a sudden, fuck. Can you look at some comics, please? Read something just for 5 minutes. Then you can come right back in. Whatever that Alan Moore story, I always forget what it's called. It's like the last Superman story.
The Watchmen.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that.
Ask me another one.
Gosh dang it. What was the name of that story? It was...
V for Vendetta.
I hate you.
From Hell.
No.
Swamp Thing.
Anyway.
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark. Again.
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Thanks. Thank you, Ronnie. You stopped yourself?
I stopped myself.
Wow.
I can't begin to imagine. Yeah, that you should not have ever that.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It was just in my head. That whole joke was in my head. Jesse will just edit this all out later. There was a fart noise that followed it. It's fine. Anywho.
Well, can't help but laugh at that.
You're doing Snagglepuss.
Don't tell me how to live my life, sir.